Welcome back to the third video looking at Challenge 8, Chapter 4, Legal Billing. Here we will look at the client components, which are ClientForm.svelte, ClientList.svelte, ClientSearch.svelte and ClientUpdate.svelte. We also have a ClientSignals.js file to look at. Most of these front-end components are in Chapter 4 Legal. Open ClientForm in Chapter 4 Legal. This imports the required signal functions and the other components just mentioned and initializes set mode to null. Thus the script. In the markup, we have the Add Client button and then conditional rendering for the client search component, so this is only rendered if mode is not set to add or edit. Next, we conditionally display client update if mode is add or edit and a client is selected, otherwise we're under the client list component. And that's all there is to this controlling code. Next, look at ClientList.svelte. Import signals and set up a derived rune for filtered clients. Here, if getSelectedClient does not have a valid client number, null undefined, or client number is falsy, the getSelectedClient.client number means falsy, as it would be initially, so we want the default client list to display just the latest 10 clients. Now the reason for the two slices is that the first creates a shallow copy of getClients to avoid mutating the original array daring sorting, while the second selected only the first 10 sorted clients. Next, where the client number is valid, we want that number first and then the next 9, so we copy using slice, then sort in client number desk order and find the index of the selected client in the sorted list and return a slice of client starting at the index with 10 clients. Note that strictly speaking, since clients must be added in sequential ascending order, we could use reverse traversal or simple indexing without sorting. Next, we have a function to handle editing a client, which sets the selected client to the client chosen, sets mode to edit, which triggers client update to be displayed in ClientForm. And then the markup, displaying the title, column headers, and the deriver filtered clients. Note the round brackets as this is a derived function. Note the conditional class for archive to set the archived records to red. Each client has the edit icon which calls the edit client function. And that's client list. Next, look at client update. Remember in ClientForm, this is triggered rendered if mode is set to add or edit and getSelectedClient is valid. As with other code, import the signals, import toggle alert from the app-wide signals file. Then we set client as $state using getSelectedClient or getResetClient. If we are editing and the client number is valid, then we populate client with getSelectedClient, otherwise, i.e. add mode, we set client to defaults using getResetClient. The reason for setting up client here is that we want to use this in the form to bind the form fields, and you cannot bind to signal getters, e.g. getSelectedClient, as that is a getter and a read-only function call. You must use local state like client for two-way binding. Next, we have a reactive isAddable derived from the field inputs to ensure that all fields are entered. And this is used in the Add Client Update Client button to disable the button. Next, functions. Function handleSubmit, called when the Add Update Client button is clicked. Sets up data payload and awaits updated client in signals with add if mode isn't add otherwise updated. I will come back to that function in a minute. If the result of that await is good, then it returns, if mode is add, a new client number in the result. Next, it removes existing client number if updating and adds concat, the new updated client, and then update set clients, signal, and the set selected client, signal. If the result is not good, then it shows an alert. In either case, it then resets the form using the next function, which resets the client and sets mode to null, which triggers ClientForm to display the client search and client list. And stop showing client update. And that's the script. In the markup, we display the client name, required, and the client number is read-only. The address tell no are required. The status is defaulted to current and read-only for mode add, otherwise is a selectable drop-down as shown. And as mentioned, the button for Add Update Client is disabled by isAddable with a call to reset form if cancelled. And that's client update. except for that call to the update client function in client signals. What do you think is going to happen here? If you said we are going on another data flow journey, you are correct. That's exactly what is going to happen. Here is the data flow. 1. UI, 2. Signal, 3. API, 4. Server route, 5. Data manager, 6. JSON, 7. Server route, 8. API, 9. Signal, 10. UI update. And I am going to let you follow that process yourself and just mention a few points of difference. In Signals, we have an update client function which handles both add and update, which both call the API service update data function, which sets up a post API request for add and a put for update. So this will run either the post function for add or the put function update in +server.js. Both fairly similar to get function already covered. The post requests determine the new client number and returns that which the put does not need to. Both call the update client data function in Client Data Manager that does the actual physical changes to the JSON files, and the tide turns all the way back to the UI. I recommend that you take the time to follow this flow from front end to back end and back. It will help your understanding of the process. Okay, so that's client update, and this has been quite long, so I will wrap up this video here and continue with client search and client signals in the next video. See you there.